What's up, folks? It's Friday night. We got a show for y'all. The black recruits attend black colleges. Hey, we got one of my boys in the house today. We're gonna get it cracking with a dope ass conversation. People, get ready. Where you at? Come up on the screen. We gotta get it popping today, baby. What's up, bro?
What's going on, man?
Hello, and we got Marcus in the house trying to find the remote control for the Bills game. I don't know where he at. Let's get him on here, baby. Oh, he ain't there. He's still trying to find the remote control.
He's still looking for the remote control, bro.
He's still looking for the remote control. Hey, let's get it cracking. Hey, got that body down just a little bit for me.
Got you.
Over here. So, hey, people, that's dope right there. That's cool right there. Hey, so this is a dope show because everybody has an opinion about this. I definitely got a bunch of opinions about this. Say got a bunch of opinions about this. Marcus got a bunch of opinions about this. Let me tell you why I'm wearing this hat. Besides, I think it was too dope for me though. But we talk about black colleges after we say black colleges. So I'm gonna kick it off, and I'm gonna give me my opinion, and we're gonna take it from left to right. Y'all ready, boys?
Let's kick it off.
Yes, sir.
All right. So this is my catch, man. Being a person that played. A young man that played high school basketball and high school football. I got recruited for football by a few schools. So growing up, when I'm watching football on TV, especially from college football, I watch Notre Dame. I'm a big Notre Dame fan. I'm a big, not Ohio State. I watch Michigan though. Michigan and Notre Dame. So when you watch those schools growing up, you playing football, you're like, damn, I want to go to those schools. The thing is, growing up, the black schools was not on national TV. And I guess right now, these fellas believe that somebody got to make the change. But you look at an athlete coming from the ghetto and want to come for money quick, they choose the quick route, which is these top schools, man. What y'all think about that? Like, what was your thought process about, like especially athletes from the ghetto who, like, want to buy their mom their house, their TV, like, you think the black colleges set them back rather than going to the big schools? What y'all think about that?
Go ahead. Well, as far as if you got to go back to lineage. When I say lineage, you got to go back to what our parents knew, and our parents before them knew. When you say historically, black colleges, I mean, they've been around forever,
right?
But we didn't know about them. So when I'm trying to see how I can put this, like our grandfathers or mothers, our parents, we knew about community colleges because that was most accessible to us. We didn't have a lot of HBCUs here in north places in the north in this country. They're more prevalent down south, but we didn't know much about them. Up here in Chicago, for instance, we knew about Kennedy King College. That was the closest came to a HBCU, Martin Luther King. But even then, that name was attached to a white man. But and that was just to get enrollment. Like, I'm not going to Martin Luther King College. We have a Martin Luther King High School. And then you had DeVry, you have Olive Harvey. Olive and Harvey were black, but they're community colleges. So there's no big program to it that would gain it notoriety, where enrollment is increased, and mostly you go to those schools for trades, things like nursing and things like that. But I don't know. I think it's there's some issues that we got to attack as far as why we're not going to HBCUs. I myself, I went to, just for 1 year, I went to Columbia College, Chicago, here in Chicago, and I didn't know much about HBCUs at the time, so I went to where I can get accepted, and I was happy with that. Not knowing as a 17-year-old that there were things that we should have been doing. We wasn't woke back then. So if I can direct my children right now, I'll direct my children to go to HBCUs, especially if they have like academic talents and athletic talents. But I'm going to let Sarah go next because I got some other things I want to tackle as we get more into it.
Go ahead, bro.
Well, I mean, growing up in the projects, Argyle Gardens or whatever, you know what I'm saying, it was never really brought to my attention of any college, because we all played baseball or whatever. We all thought, we all was thinking, we could avoid going to college by getting picked up, you know, A-ball, AA, AAA, you know what I'm saying? So, actually, college for me wasn't really an option in the beginning because, like I said, we was thinking more like the AAA type of thing, AA, AAA, single A, A-ball, you know what I'm saying? So when that time came and passed, it was like, okay, man, so now what I do? So it wasn't like Marcus, I went to a junior college, Kennedy King, Black college or whatever, but and it was a financial thing because I always thought these colleges would cost a lot of money, like going away to school and stuff like that. I thought it was gonna be like a financial hit on my mom, so I didn't even think about going to none of those colleges like that. You know what I'm saying? So I stayed local, community college, and then eventually I would try to go down there to what's that, Carpendale? I forgot the school down there.
SIU?
Yeah. But couldn't get in there, you know what I'm saying? And then it was another little school down there. I forgot the name of that school. But like I said, it wasn't really going to the HBC colleges or whatever. I mean, it wasn't really an idea thought. My ex went there, you know what I'm saying? She went to Grambling, you know, so I had the experience of seeing how that atmosphere was. But I mean, it wasn't really an option. I mean, it wasn't really, I didn't look at it like that. Black college, you know what I'm saying? Because the closest black college I seen was on Different World, you know what I'm saying? So, sure, you know what I'm saying? So, I mean, that's what I got to say about that. You go ahead and take it over, John.
So, man, I was in the same school, like I said, when I was looking at schools, like one school that stood out to me was University of Miami. You know, Miami was, you know, they was on TV. So I'm thinking like, man, I get this big time school, you know what I'm saying? You know, they big name, you know, that's where the bag is at, you know what I'm saying? So I'm thinking, the way my thought process was thinking back then is like, hey, I can buy mama a house real quick if I go here. The thing is, I'm not against going to black schools at all. I'm not against going to black schools. I just believe in people have different financial situations when they're going into college. Now you get a full ride, but if you're great or you have league potential, you want more exposure. It's a lot of good athletes that play at these black colleges, but the exposure level as far as national TV always sits at these big schools. We're talking about Texas A&M, Ohio State, Notre Dame, North Carolina, Duke. That's where the exposure is at, man. They always on TV. Like Duke basketball, you see down there, their whole season is almost on TV. Every time we play, they come on TV. Right. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not made my choice. I'm looking at Miami, but I'm like kind of homebound. So I regret not going to Miami, man. You know how many Cuban women I would have had, but I chose Illinois State, and I kind of went there, and I didn't, I went to a few practices and I kind of like fell off with that. But I think that if I could do it all over again, like right now, the mindset I got today, the skill that I got, I think there's a part of me that I take a chance at a black college playing football, like Tennessee State or Prairie View, because they the highest earning school in terms of income from sports out of all the black schools at $18.5 million. When you look at the top earning school from the D1 level, Texas is $223 million. That's a huge damn gap, man. So it's not about a person's background, but I'm gonna ask y'all this. Put yourself in their shoes, man. Let's keep it real. Y'all high profile athletes. You done high school, you rank top 5, top 10. So, I'm gonna put you in an economic position where you want to buy your mama a house as soon as possible. I'm gonna put y'all as basketball players. Let's go on the basketball side. You could be one and done. Are you going to a historically black college? Are you going to change the avenue? Or are you going to take the easy route and go to one of these big schools with a TV exposure? What would y'all do? Say it. What would you do, man?
The mindset now is different. You know what I'm saying? I mean, but I'm not going to even lie. The reason I think I probably would still. It depends, man. I mean, it all depends. I think my mindset now, because the reason I left Atlanta was to give my son, to give him everything, the blacks, the whites, all the different culture, so he could absorb. I mean, get to know the cultures and stuff like different cultures. But I also brought him from Atlanta too, because if I bring him down here to Indiana, he's gonna stick out. because it's a lot of whites here. You know what I'm saying? So it sticks out. So I think I probably would still do the same. And I think that's why a lot of pro athletes did what they did, because they kind of stands out. You know, out of these colleges and stuff like that. If they stay and go to the HBCU, I think you're going to be just part of the bunch. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's kind of hard. My mindset right now probably be the same thing.
So let's think about it. Like Marcus, I'm gonna let you go in a minute. You need that bag. And in basketball, most guys right now, I don't know if they still have the rule you got to do 1 year of college, or whatever. But Marcus, are you taking the black college route, or are you going to a big time D1 school?
Well, here's where it starts for me. If I was getting ready to go to college right now, it's different. It's difficult to answer that question, because I would have to put myself as a 17-year-old. I wouldn't be as community oriented as I am now as a 45-year-old, where I can look back and say, no, this is for culture. This is for community. As a 17-year-old, it's easy to say, man, I can go to this college and I can get notoriety because I'm a great athlete. But let me tell you something. I hinted to this. I hinted to you guys when we were doing the pre-show discussing our topics. I had a conversation last night on the phone, actually, with Curtis King. Very intellectual, savvy guy, man. I'm telling y'all, I can talk to this guy, you get to thinking like, dang, I didn't realize that. But he brought up a great point. There was one person who actually could change the game as far as going to HBCU versus getting that bag right now. Because if you are a sought-after athlete, you can still get that bag by going to HBCU, and that player is LeBron James. You say, well, how can you be talking about LeBron James? LeBron James is at the end of his pro career. Well, LeBron James has a son, Bronny James. Okay, Bronny James. If LeBron James, and let me preface this. Please, let me preface this. We don't tell, or we can't make LeBron James do it. We can't say, oh, you a set out. You ain't got your son going to HBCU. That's his prerogative. It's his choice. That's the way he wants to go. LeBron does a lot of other things with the black community. He even has a school. But if you want to talk about changing the game, if he's an influence, I mean, he gives a lot of philanthropy, but when you talk about giving money, then there's the debate of, is he really helping the community, or is it a tax write-off? And that's a worthy conversation. That's actually a real conversation. But if he really wants to change the game, like a real action, he has done other real acts, like starting schools in black neighborhoods. But if he wants to do something real noteworthy, I'm talking about change the course of HBCUs. If he's an influence to his son, tell his son go to Jackson State, Grambling, any one of those HBCUs, 26 and 12. I guarantee you, all the media cameras, all the outlets, everybody, they're going down there and they're going to cover this school and this conference for as long as he's there. And what's going to happen is people are going to start sending money to these schools. They're going to have new facilities. And everything I'm saying now, I'm paraphrasing Curtis. New facilities, TV contracts, money. And after that, and after you see Bronny James go to an HBCU, you're going to see D-Wade's son go to an HBCU. You're going to see Scottie Pippen's son go to an HBCU. Because nothing is bigger than trending.
Yeah.
So we need a game changer. So to answer your question, Jonathan, right now, I probably would say, if I'm woke, I would be thinking about changing the game, because Bronny is going to get a bag if he goes to DeVry. He's going to get the bag. He's going to get paid. He's freaking LeBron James' son. So they're going to follow him if he goes to Alaska. So I get what you're saying, that if, you know, my mom needs money, I need to go, I want to go pro. I don't have a problem with people having that sense of urgency. That's them. And I can't make LeBron say, man, take your son to HBCU. But if you want to change the game, if you want to get these college enrollments, and I'm going to talk about later as far as why it's very systemically important to go to HBCUs. If you want to change the game, it starts with guys like LeBron and influencing their children to go HBCU rather than one of these nationally known colleges.
Right. I see a comment. These kids get all the exposure they need in high school. They don't need colleges. Colleges need them. And I kind of disagree, because some public schools don't get exposure like high school they need and get to that Even get schools, look at them, not even black schools. So I would disagree with that. And it depends on your coach in high school. But I read another comment that said, right, if your mindset is going to college with the pressure of uplifting your family from poverty, I think that exposure, the facilities, the training, the culture of the big schools has to be a huge draw. Let's keep it real. The budget resources are not on the level playing field. That's true, but when I visited a few. I visited Fort Worth, Texas. That school, I can't think of the name of it real quick, man. I got a brain fart. School in Fort Worth, Texas, big time school in Fort Worth. I get the name later. But I went to visit, man. This college, first of all, the stadium was freaking huge. I gotta look this up. I gotta look this up. The stadium was freaking huge, man. We walked the stadium. It had to be like about 70,000, 80,000 like seats. Huge school. Then I went to a little athletic spot where they the training spot, man. I went to the school right quick. I think I was in Fort Worth, Texas.
While you looking that up, the two comments came from Byron Oley and Thomas Stewart. So those are two people that's been vocal right now about this topic. So the last
TCU.
comment, go ahead.
TCU. I went to TCU. So when I went there, the stadium is very big. The size of Soldier Field, a lot bigger. They had another dome, like not too far from the field, where it's a practice field, like the Bears practice in Lake Forest, the inside. Man, it was dope. We went in there, it's turf fields, man. The training equipment and whatever. The few black schools I went to, had like the comparison, it wasn't the same level, but then that's where it goes in terms of money making. So as an athlete, I know Mark said you can go change the tables. However, big time injuries in college, you get big time treatment. And like I'm looking at this budget right now, Ohio State, they bring in $210 million a year. That's how they're able to pay colleges, pay coaches, but they're able to pay them this $3 and $5 million a year contracts. You know, they're making big money, man. I looked it up today. I'm like, damn. Alabama, 164 million. Texas, 223 million. You go to these schools, look at their facilities, it attracts you, man. It's got a huge draw. You got.
But where do you start, Jonathan? Change is not, and I've been interrupting you, so I apologize. But change is not going to happen tomorrow. Change has to be generational. I mean, would you agree with that? That has to start at some point where, okay, look back 20 years and say, this is where it happened.
It started.
This is where it started. This is like, okay, this guy changed the culture. We're talking about for culture. I totally get what you're saying. Those big schools, they have it all, and they're going to attract that player. So I get at those, but that's the system. Systemic, I'm telling y'all, man, systemic racism plays a part in that. The definition of systemic racism is laws, rules, and guidelines implemented to keep and the oppressed. It is designed to keep you at a certain level. And it's going to be designed to keep HBCUs not having a notoriety, not having the enrollment. So that's my question. I submit. At what point do we take? Because everybody's going to always need that pad. Everybody's going to always need, and I want to get my mom out the hood. So where does it start? Who's wait? Like I said, I don't put it on LeBron James solely, but he does take an active responsibility and being an activist on his own. So if he, in my opinion, that's something that you could put out there. Say, hey, LeBron, you could change the game with this, right? Maybe.
Well, the thing is, here's my thing with LeBron and his son. If LeBron's son is it LeBron James, if he ain't got that game like LeBron, how much would that, would they still follow him like that?
Right, those cameras like to stay on him if he ain't.
Man, do y'all know his numbers? Dude is putting up like 23 and 12.
Okay, I didn't know. That's what I'm saying. That's all.
Yes.
He had to be putting up numbers for people like for instance, if LeBron would have went to, like, for instance, he didn't go to college, whatever. But imagine him going to. They was going to his high school game, looking for him. You know what I'm saying?
You think they wouldn't have went down to Langston just to look at him?
Yeah.
They was going to St. Mary's, his high school. You just made a great point. They was going to his freaking high school game. You think they wouldn't have went down south?
Yeah. Yep.
Hey, I'll say this though. One person to change the game right now is Deion Sanders, who's the head coach of Jackson State, man. That's bringing the attention. He brings some attention to Jackson State. Now, hopefully his name, because Deion Sanders is the best damn DB in the NFL probably of all time, in my opinion. He shut down the whole side of the field.
Yeah.
Now he's the head coach of Jackson State. Now these young guys, man, it's Deion Sanders. They learn who he is. Maybe attract those big names over at Jackson State because they got a video out, man. And Deion Sanders talked to his coaching staff like, "What you need?" One coach staff, I need 8 dogs, to do this. I need a ball carrier to do this. That's the video is dope, man. If I'm a recruit and I'm a football player right now. When you look at stuff like that, I'm like, I'm going to Jackson State. I'm gonna try Jackson State out. You know what I'm saying? I think Deion Sanders right now today has changed the game. It's not even necessarily the athlete. Like you got these big name guys like Deion Sanders who took on that responsibility at Jackson State that eventually could change that program around. Now, I want to know like how in college football you never see like black schools unless it's preseason play these Big Ten schools. I want to see where black schools can make the bowl games and stuff. Because bowl games is where these schools make the money. These Chick-fil-A bowls, Orange Bowl, these schools, they make big millions from these games. So do y'all think that the trend is to start from like what Deion Sanders is doing? Or y'all think it needs to be a combination of both from Deion Sanders and the athletes from high school going to college?
Well, Deion Sanders to me, I think he started it. So I mean, if he do it, and people start to go to Jackson, like you said, Jackson State, that's going to start a trend. And then they're going to see like, okay, I could do this. You know what I'm saying? Because the video I showed you guys that Thomas Stewart, he brought it to me. That's what made me want to do this show because he brought it to me and I presented it to you guys. They had a nice conversation, and I think it's like in one of the girls said it starts like Marcus said it starts somewhere, and she said the same thing. It got to start somewhere. So if Deion Sanders is the one to start it, he's a hell of a person to start it. You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, football is black people dominate that sport. You know what I'm saying? So we gotta see what Deion Sanders. This is his first year, right? This will be his first year.
His first year at Jackson State. But real quick, before I let Marcus go, I want to get some comments. I'm sorry, y'all, but I don't know who the first name is. One and done. I'm going to class for a semester. Let me go to a historical black college and enjoy myself. And another person said, "Sure believe Bronny bringing some more guys with him." TCU, I got that. Facilities are more for football. Top flight basketball players are mostly developed in the league already. Yeah, that's true. But you know what? Back in the day, college basketball players used to be developed like they did 4 years in college too, man. So it said Deion Sanders committed to play for him too. Wow, I didn't know that. So yeah, he about to change the way black colleges operate when it comes to sports. What do you think, Marcus? Do you think that that it's a combination of both can lead to change the game, or Deion said that thing? What do you think about that?
The combination. And perfect segue. I was just about to say that. Imagine, it's not even a trend, but imagine the movement. That's the word I want to use. Imagine the movement by Deion Sanders being in an HBCU as a head coach, Scottie Pippen Jr., Zaire Wade, and Bronny James, all in HBCUs at one time. Just imagine that, just for a second. If these guys, I mean, that's a movement. That's not a recruiting class. That is making a statement on levels that we have not heard. If you think about, here's an example, how, and I'm going to pair the sports with something else. Like if you get Scottie Pippen Jr., Zaire Wade, Bronny James, and Deion Sanders, that's a black movement in athletics. Now compare it to this particular group of people. And I ask you this question. You know it coming out there. What group of people are the most educated people in this country? Do you guys know? The black female. The black woman is by far, statistically speaking, and there's only 44 million blacks in the country. The black woman, I looked this up, the black woman is by far the most educated group of people in this country. And some 68% of them, no, it's not 68, 53% of them are from HBCUs. That is ridiculous. That's a ridiculous number. So imagine you got black women that's educated that's not even comparable to any other group. And then you got these three athletes who are sons of legends. Deion Sanders' son, Deion Sanders himself coaching. That's a movement. So I say both of them together.
Yeah.
What do y'all think about we saying the top athletes, but let's be real. There's top white athletes, there's top Hispanic athletes. What if these athletes start to like just do a trend and start going to these historically black colleges, get these black athletes to play? Because that's what's happening at these big schools. You got Hispanic athletes, you got white athletes, black athletes, top athletes in the nation of the big schools.
That's great.
But if the trend stops, and Jackson State, like right now, Deion Sanders started Jackson State because there's nothing keeping a white person, Hispanic person going to all black schools. All got the money and free ride. So if these guys start the trend to go forward, it'll affect the financial stability of some of these schools that used to get $200 million a year. Because, like I say, the largest income at a black school is Prairie View A&M at $18.5 million. So that's not comparison to the number 10 school at LSU making $157 million. It's still not even comparison. So when y'all think about other nationalities going to all black colleges, the top athletes.
Yeah, you got to remember the idea of an HBCU is not to just keep it all black.
Right.
It's open. You can admit anyone. The idea of a historically black college is to admit without cumbersome issues, to admit and to enroll without being discriminated against. So we're not going to say, well, we're going to keep it all black. If whites and Hispanics want to join, that's great. Just as long as you guys know that blacks will always be welcome. So the idea is not to say, okay, it's all black. We don't want white people to come here. No, we want that money too in our schools. We want that money. We want those TV contracts. Bring them on. HBCU says, okay, we're definitely going to admit black people, unlike the Princetons and the Harvards and the Ivies and Stanfords of the world, unless you're a great athlete. No, we can let you in. We can still have standards in the HBCU, and definitely black people will be admitted. But the doors are open for everybody.
Well, me, I think, like you said, I think it's probably pretty much open to everybody too. But I mean, we got to look at ourselves before we could actually, what I'm saying? It's always been there with me.
No doubt.
Let's look at ourselves first and try to get ourselves in there in the door and try to do some things and make some movement or whatever. Because once other nationalities or whatever, they do their thing, they form together. We, for some reason, don't follow it. You know what I'm saying? So what I wanted to do is, because there was a few people in the NBA that actually went to black colleges. Not too many big names, but names that stuck out that I did some research on. Anthony Mason went to Tennessee University. Charles Oakley and Ben Wallace went to Virginia. Tennessee, yeah, State University, yeah. Charles Oakley and Ben Wallace went to Virginia Union University. Earl Monroe went to Winston-Salem. Bob Love went to Southern and A&M.
Yep.
I don't know this guy. This before my time. Sam Jones went to North Carolina Central. And Willis Reed went to Grambling State. I never knew that. I never knew he
was Sam Jones. He coached. You know him.
Yeah. You know what? Matter of fact, it's not that you said that. Yeah, I do know who he is. But the Willis Reed, I never knew he went to Grambling. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he's not a bust. You know what I'm saying? But he went to Grambling State. Before we go into anything else, I'm gonna give you like a couple, like 9 football players that actually went to HBCU. Doug Williams went to Grambling.
Oh yeah,
first black quarterback coach in the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. Jerry Rice went to Mississippi Valley State. Walter Payton went to Jackson State, which we just talked about. Deion Sanders, where he coaches right now. Richard Dent went to Tennessee State. Michael Strahan went to Texas Southern. Shannon Sharp went to Savannah State. Earl Too Tall Jones went to Tennessee State. Steve McNair went to Alcorn State. And our players right now, Tyree Cohen went to North Carolina Central. All these guys went to HBCU. You know what I'm saying? So it could happen. So people, if you good, you're gonna stick out regardless. You know what I'm saying? I always thought they didn't go because if it's a lot of blacks, you're just not gonna stick out like a sore thumb if you went to one of these other schools or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean,
I think it's still exposure, man. I think that if you're good, yeah, you might stick out a black college, but you're not going to be on that national televised TV. You got to look at TV contracts and the money they earn. But real quick, if I go deeper in that, I'm gonna read comments on one guy said, I think we need our top influencers invested in HBCUs to generate that buzz. Dr. Dre gave $35 million to USC. LeBron is a big supporter of Ohio State, but who is that guy bringing exposure and influence to the historically black colleges, which is the point. Michael Strahan has supported Deion Sanders as much as he can, and Deion got Under Armour to sponsor Jackson State. That's real huge. Once you get sponsors with big names like Under Armour to sponsor you, you're going in the right direction. Jackson State is gonna, man, it's gonna be the football program is gonna be nuts, man. Like I say, somebody spot me, Marcus, first woman of color VP attended the HBCU. The myth of the HBCU is inferior education busted. Jackson State has a white QB. He was balling. I do remember somebody talking about that. So that's all I want to say. I'm not saying that keeping non-black athletes from going. I didn't say that. What I'm saying is that if these white or Hispanic or Asian or whatever athletes are top notch and they want to come to black schools, why not let them come? If they bring in the cameras, there and exposure to the HBCUs, maybe that'll help get some black athletes over there, more black athletes over there than it already is top ones. Because you think about it.
Well, they'll stick out like a sore thumb too. If you bring a white quarterback to go to Grambling, he's going to stick out. So everybody going to wonder what's going on. I understand that.
But he's got the scholarship. If he's putting that level, if he's a top quarterback, why not?
Yeah.
So you bring an exposure to the school. The cameras, like you said, the cameras follow LeBron James. There's some top white quarterbacks from high school that are damn near good. And I see even in Central Illinois, the cameras constantly follow these guys. Like they follow them around, these sports people follow them around. And they go to the black colleges, it's like, at this point, hey, if he come, you know what I'm saying, bring a couple of little black athletes, you know what I'm saying, just make this a big time program at this point. So I'm just saying, I'm open-minded to the whole idea. One thing too, I think that has an effect on kids is the TV contracts, man. Like how often do you see black college football games on TV?
Like once a year. What they call it, a
classic.
Classics. Exactly, said it has to be a classic.
And have either one of y'all ever sat and watched those games?
Nope.
But if you do watch it, what are you looking for though? Because the band,
halftime is game time.
Right. So I'm hoping that Deion Sanders changed the culture because I'm not gonna lie, I tried to watch the game. I think it was Southern and Grambling one year, and I think it was Thanksgiving before Thanksgiving or after Thanksgiving. I tried to watch the game, and I ain't gonna lie, it was terrible. It was terrible, man. I couldn't. I had to turn to a big school game. So, like, how do y'all think that when these athletes start going, if they start trending toward HBCUs, do you think that these TV contracts are set up would it put more black game, like HBCU game on TV? What do y'all think about that? Would it have that effect?
I think they will because I mean, look at what's the school down here? I think is it Butler down here? Yeah, I mean they came out of nowhere. Like these schools that came out of nowhere. What school that Steph Curry came from? Is like one person put that. One person could put a team on a map. You know what I'm saying? If they balling out like that. So I think if the trend starts, you'll start getting those sponsors. Because I know right now people probably will start watching Deion Sanders because they know if you don't know, young guys don't know if they know from ESPN talking football. You know what I'm saying? So they'll see Deion Sanders like, okay, he was bad. You know, so they go through some videos and watch like he was dope. You know what I'm saying? And then saw him on ESPN. Now he's doing college. They're like, okay, some big time football top recruit will say, I consider going there. But on one of the videos I sent you guys, one guy said he went to a black college with his brother, but he was a top recruiter he was a junior, but he's gonna be a top recruiter his senior year. And then he asked the coach. He said, "Why y'all ain't come out to see me?" He said, "Because we know you're not gonna come." Mm-hmm. So that's the kind of thing that goes on. Black colleges know top recruits not gonna come, so they don't even approach the top athletes. You know what I'm saying? So that's but he's like you said, just ask me, just come out and check me out, just ask and see what I say, because I probably change. I might have a change of mind. You know what I'm saying? So Could you imagine if Derrick Rose would have went to one of those colleges? Michael Jordan, he won the top recruit, but I'm saying like top recruit guys like Derrick Rose, even LeBron James, even though he's going straight to pro, your Shaqs, he went to LSU. Imagine those big time players going to the HBC. It would have brought the sponsors there because they was dominating in their college years. You know what I'm saying? So,
I'm like, you know what? I'm all for I'm all for that. But me personally, man, I like the exposure. So I'm not gonna be the one to change the trend. I got to go where the money's at, man. I'm sorry, man. Hey, I love my people.
But in reality, you don't get the money, though. I mean, you don't supposed to get the money.
No. I want the exposure, and I get it, though. I know the trend, like Deion Sanders, I know it's going to start turning, so it's going to be better for young athletes, like 3-4 years from now, when they come out of high school, Jackson State, Grambling, all these schools going to look like, man, I see the turn. Like right now, if I'm coming, I'm like, actually, Jackson State does look pretty interesting, man. Deion Sanders, his videos get me pumped up, though. He be talking, man. He talk, you like, damn, man, Jackson State look like this is for the play. They about that business. I would love to see. What I'd like to see, though, and we see it in the NCAA, where black schools get to play, the big D1 schools. We don't see it in football, though. Like, in fact, I think Prairie View, they beat Michigan one year, I think. If I'm mistaken, somebody correct me. Prairie View A&M beat Michigan like 2 years ago. But you don't see so many like games where black schools play these big schools, you know what I'm saying? And I think that you'll start to see it soon, hopefully with the trend Deion Sanders create. But man, Marcus, I know you said that the trend's gonna start, whatever. Do you think that the gap will be closed in terms of the income? Right now, I gave you some numbers. It separates for almost over 100 million from like the top Prairie View school, then the top Texas school. I'm talking about 18.5 million to 223 million. Do you think that if we change the rotation of top athletes going from the historically black colleges, would it bridge the gap money-wise? Because money is the main thing, and money makes the world go round. Money is power. What do you think about that?
Well, you got to look at it like this. It takes one boxer to draw a $75 pay-per-view fight, and their purse is $30 million and $15 million. It's just one boxer. So what I'm saying is, and that's closed circuit. That's pay-per-view. What do you think about Bronny James facing off with Scottie Pippen's son, Jackson State and Grambling? You don't think ESPN is going to air the game? Without question, that becomes the new ACC. That's your hot conference. I don't care about Duke at this point. I want to see the best basketball players in the nation. And when you get the best players going to the best schools, I don't care where the schools are, cameras will follow suit. It's academic, basically. You just have to.
Hey, put that question back up. I'm gonna ask Marcus that. Yeah, go ahead, Marcus. I'm gonna ask that question when you're done. That's definitely a question.
Can they attract a huge TV contract without attracting a white audience? It's hard to me to imagine that. Can they attract? Let me process that. Can they attract a huge TV contract without attracting a white audience? I don't know if you want them. Are you saying that you don't want them to attract a white audience? But
actually, could they attract a huge TV contract without attracting a white audience? So basically, with the HBCU, they probably don't attract a white audience anyway. So can you attract a huge TV contract without that white audience?
Yeah. Absolutely. If you look at basketball. Basketball is what, 92% black athletes anyway.
Right, we entertainers.
And
we entertainers. We entertain.
Yeah. But within the last 15 years, we've become activists. We use that power as a voice, at least to some degree. So we dominate percentage-wise basketball anyway. So without question, they would watch. A white audience will watch, and I don't profess that that the whole concern is about a white audience watching. Although, if you want money to start going to these schools, you want everybody on board. But I think, without question, that you would get a white audience because you get the best talent. The best boxers historically have been black. Football, great percentage of that is black. I mean, the nation's sports is predominantly black. Super Bowl.
Curtis,
the biggest draw of the year, and people watch it.
Curtis King just said whites watch NBA, and that's what it is, you know what I'm saying? Because it's majority blacks, you know what I'm saying? We entertain. And that's what I was going to come back to, that I think they'll come, because look at Ice Cube, the big three. How's that getting more? How did that come on NBC, but we can't get no HBCU games on NBC? Or do come NBC?
Hey, let me tell you something. They is on Fox.
NBC? No, that's on NBC.
It was on one of those main channels, but they did the second season. They got that TV sport. Because I ain't gonna lie, I was recording those big three games, but I was recording because I like to watch Nate Robinson. Nate Robinson was an attraction to the big three. So I guess y'all right. You got a player that can attract the audience. Good. But one thing I want to suggest for y'all though, look at the towns that these big universities in that's majority white population. Let's look at Madison, Wisconsin, University of Wisconsin, man. You ever drive through Madison, it's badges get everywhere, like everywhere, man. That's how they get their money. You look at Lincoln in Nebraska, you know, it's Cornhuskers get everywhere. Champaign, Illinois, man. U of I, man. You got U of I gear everywhere. Fighting Illini everywhere, man. You don't have like some of these schools. I haven't seen it. Maybe I didn't pay attention. Some of y'all can like tell me. I have not been to some of these historically black colleges in their town, and I don't see the same thing. So we will take a build up, because somebody mentioned the white audience. You want to attract everybody. I think you want to attract everybody. And like somebody said, you want to look at good games. So if the top athletes are going to these historically black colleges, it attracts some of the white audience over to watch these kids play, man. Because at the end of the day, it's entertainment.
Yeah.
You know, it's entertainment at the end of the day. You're going to watch good games. Like if the Division I Duke, because Duke is trash right now. You know, because Coach K can play and talk about some, I'm canceling all my non-conference games. They just lost to U of I the other day in basketball. So Coach K up here bitching. After he played the games, now he want to play during a pandemic because he lost to U of I. So they got these schools that's like trickling down. I don't know what kind of talent is at Duke now. I know you got a few high school recruits now that commit to black schools. I got to look that up. Somebody probably watching can post that up. But the trend is changing now. You don't see Duke or power. Duke lost. I think Duke's got 2 losses right now, 2 or 3, which is not normal. They'll get 2 or 3 losses to like February. They hardly ever lose. So the trend is changing right now.
I was saying, no one's dominate. That's what I said. I mean, those teams like Duke, North Carolina, they're not dominating like they used to.
No, they're not. They're not dominating. But you got these big towns. Like, so my thing is, when the trend change with these towns of Tennessee State, Grambling, and Jackson State, especially Jackson State, because in Jackson, Mississippi, man, the economy is poor. Will these towns start to flourish? Will it help these economic towns like Jackson? Because Jackson, you can't make a damn thing of Jackson. With a school like Jackson State, and I'm assuming it's in Jackson, Mississippi. So with a school like that, could it turn into a town like Champaign, Illinois, who like get all this income from the big universities? You got to look at that too, man. It's a domino effect everywhere. It can help Jackson. Jackson's a poor city. It is, man. You can't make the money. So do y'all think that once things turn around, it'll be an economic explosion for these small towns and where these black schools lie? What y'all think about that?
Look, first of all, shout out to Curtis King. I see that he jumped on here. I tried to represent your point as best I could. The conversation that we had yesterday talking about Bronny. So thank you for those talking points. I tried to present those for them. I'm going to give you an example, Jonathan, based off your question. Can a college turn around a small town economically? I'm going to have to go. Just look at the Bears and Bourbonnais. Bourbonnais, which is south, is right between Champaign and Chicago.
Right.
Bears were in Bourbonnais for about 10, 12 years now. And this next year, they'll be going somewhere else. And they protested, and they hate that the Bears are leaving now, because when the Bears were there, and I'm talking about the training camp, the preseason,
right,
experienced an economic boom, like something they never seen before. And that's just the Bears. They're only there for like 2 weeks. So imagine what imagine the economic boom it does for colleges that's there year round. See what I'm saying?
Right.
Versus 2 weeks training camp. The money that the restaurants in Bourbonnais, which is where the Bears was practicing, and the restaurants, the jobs, everything was like an all-time high. So if you start to get athletes going to, you bring athletes in, you bring TV revenues. For instance, let's just say, because Notre Dame has a TV contract, right, with NBC, and it's been there with the better part of 35 years, going back to Lou Holtz. That's why you see them on all the time. North Carolina, they're on ESPN, so that's an ESPN bias right there. That's what ESPN stands for, East Coast Sports Network. Imagine Grambling State and Jackson State, or Langston and Alcorn. Imagine these rivalries and seen on TV every year, football and basketball. Imagine the TV contracts. Imagine the tens of millions, hundreds of millions of dollars filtering into these schools. When you start right there, look at all the scholarships that can go out to would-be athletes who they never would have seen before. Now you have money. You can get more scholarship money to put out into these neighborhoods and to these kids who wouldn't have dreamed of going to college. So yeah, does it change it changes the game in these communities, because everything around them now, everything around that school is attached to it. Because it's a boom. You have people going there. Traffic, people means money. We can walk around here like little dollar signs. They're money to neighborhoods and communities. You get people going to shows and to grocery stores. That's what you call an economic boom. And it does start. And colleges are institutions. Colleges and banks, things like that. When you got people filtering money to institutions, and those institutions goes out to the neighborhood and the community. So the answer to your question is yes.
Really about said.
Yeah, I mean, I think like Marcus said, he had said, even the Bears in Bourbonnais or whatever, that helped them out a lot. And like I said, he took everything I said was thinking. He just took
Sorry about that, man.
But it's cool. No, but I mean, like you said, it's going. All we said is it's going to take that one boom to make it happen. And I think not only Deion Sanders have to do it. You got these people with these network, like, I don't know, Beats, I don't know if the same person's owning it, but you got Oprah. On Saturdays, you playing reruns of something. Why not put those games like that on those TV stations? And then but
NBC, shit.
Well, no. But I'm saying, but it'll start if Oprah put that on her network in the morning, because that stuff happens in the morning. The games on Saturday morning, and on Saturday morning, what you playing? Reality shows and reruns of something. You could actually put those games on her station. You know what I'm saying? And BET. You know what I'm saying? Because you ain't do them. I don't know how many times I saw Martin. I love Martin. Don't get me wrong, but for the time frame that we looking at the college's game, is from like what 11 to like 7.
Right.
You could put some games up in there and build up that audience or whatever. Then we probably start watching it, but we don't
turn
see
BT right now, and there's a Tyler Perry something on.
Exactly.
I promise you, Tyler Perry's on right now.
Hey.
That part right there, I mean, that could actually help out too. I mean, that's one of the things I think they should, try to get into. I mean, that.
Not those bootleg ass TV stations, man. Damn that. I want the big.
You gotta start somewhere, bro.
Ain't nobody turn it. I don't even watch that shit. But look, hey, Curtis King Jr. said the NBA is international and has no competition. If some of the top black athletes go to HBCUs, they still have to compete for exposure with Alabama, Clemson, Ohio State, etc., which is true. You still got to compete for that exposure. The competition is good. The media gonna follow the talent. We just have to realize our worth, in my opinion. So one thing I do, man, is the band competition will never. The thing is, me personally, I don't know. I like to see an interconference game like between Alabama and Jackson State. This is why. If we can, at Jackson State, get that level of playing at Alabama and playing these big schools and big names, that money could trickle down to like that. Because think about these bowl games. When you play in the Cotton Bowl, man, schools winners earn like $8 million and $10 million and stuff. If you get Jackson State to play in these bowl games by winning, if they compete, that in turn can bring more money to these schools, man. These bowl games, you look at the payoff of these bowl games. I don't know a lot from the top. I know they pay millions of dollars. These bowl games to these schools, man. They make the national championship. I gotta look it up, man. I don't know how much the national champions make for the school. They earn a big paycheck by being national champions, man. So you got to.
I think Deion Sanders got an inside track because by him being on ESPN, sooner or later they're gonna want to see how he's coaching, especially if they start winning. If they start winning like winning big games and stuff like that, it's going to shoot that camera's going to go that way. You know what I'm saying? So it's all about him having a good program. If he get a good program going, and he know how to talk to the people, because he's a market. He's good for marketing. You know what I'm saying? He's always been good prime time.
Deion Sanders he reminds me of, he's Frankie Beverly and Mays. He's Anita Baker. He's a new addition. And what I mean by that is he don't have to have a new album out. He doesn't have to be playing right now. He has an audience. He has a fan base. People are going to root for him. Man, did Deion Sanders them? They didn't even say did his team, the name of school, did Deion Sanders them win today? What Deion Sanders them do? Right. They want to turn. They want to know the answer to that. So he's always must see TV. So yeah, but guys like him.
What Deion said, because even when he played against the Bears, I never disliked Deion Sanders. You know what I'm saying? Because he just was that dominant. It's just like
TV personality.
Right, exactly. I mean, Walter Payton wasn't that, but I mean, you just wanted to chill because you knew he's gonna shut down. He's gonna give you something. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I hope we do well with that. I really do.
Man, I'm looking already. A comment that said crazy fact: HBCUs are not allowed to play those bowl games. Man, I'm gonna do some more research on that because I think I didn't know that.
We missed that one. Why, Byron? Why not? Can you enlighten us on that one? If you know,
I was just looking trying to Google, but I imagine no HBCUs. I didn't never played the bowl game, so for my
but I mean, I don't know what the ruling is on that or why. Is it a money thing? But I guarantee you that ban or that rule will be lifted if Scottie Pippen Jr., Bonnie, Dwayne Wade Jr., Zaire Wade, they all go there. I bet those bans I've removed.
Basketball, I think it's a black schools got into the NCAA tournament. For football, for those bowl games, there are no black schools, man. Basketball is different, man. You can get,
but it don't matter if it's basketball or football. Let the publicity exposure start going there. Then listen, you don't take these restrictions off. We you know what I'm saying? We ain't none of us going to y'all school. That's what I'm talking about, making the movement, man.
Games, though, like the way the schedule's done in basketball is different from football. Like football, you never see. Like I told you, Prairie View is one of the only schools I see played some D1 schools. I don't recall. I think in the preseason, you get some of these black schools to play some of these D1 schools. What it's gonna take, at Prairie View, they put the exclamation point down. But they beat a few D1 schools, Michigan being one. It's gonna take some of these black schools to beat some of these D1 schools to put their name on the map, because they play these preseason games together. Right now, it's not proven where these schools should play because they was going to have blown out 72-35-0. But Prairie View has been giving Michigan the business.
But that's why I said if Deion said if his program is good, and he start beating like them big name teams, that camera's gonna move into that direction.
And then the NCAA has switched things up where now some of these black schools that become a powerhouse, if they become a powerhouse, can start competing to play in some of these bowl games and start from the bottom, like probably the Cotton Bowl or Chick-fil-A Bowl or something like that. Start from the bottom. You know, you got to build your way up, because right now nobody's going to tune in on New Year's Day or the day after New Year's Day to watch a goddamn Jackson State play Ohio State for the damn national championship to watch a blowout. So you got to build your way up there to that moment right now, because right now. The bag is with these TV contracts with these big schools. So they're not going to push Jackson State back up to the front right away. But it's going to take some upstanding teams and stuff, like stomp your damn feet down, get the athletes there. And it's going to take some years for it to happen. And I think it can happen. But I would like to see it, though. Like, just some of these black schools. Right now, I don't watch any Southern games or Jackson State games. But for basketball, I'm more likely to watch, because I've seen some games where, man, you always got one player, like you said, example, Steph Curry with Davidson back in the day. Man, Steph Curry, nobody else, if y'all watch college basketball, Steph Curry had nobody else than Davidson team. He was pulling three from half court, dropping 40 and 50. He was winning games by his damn self.
I only saw him, I learned of him in the tournament.
That's what I watched him during the season. In the tournament, he just was lights out, man, just like killing, like, man, he was doing his thing. So I think with basketball, it will be easier, because I think somebody stated in the comments above, like, some of these athletes come in college, they ready. They damn near NBA ready. So basketball is easier. Football is going to take a build-up. So basketball, the program could change, I think, in a matter of, like, 1 or 2 seasons.
Right.
Yeah, it could change in a few seasons. You get a few athletes done. Because Jackson State and all these schools, they can win their conference and get into the NCAA tournament.
Like I said, that's what I said. Like Butler did. Like, who knew this school? I mean, I'm in this.
It's small.
I'm over here. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, this little bitty school. You know what I'm saying? But they 2 years in a row, I think they came through.
Butler had that one guy. Who was that? Michael Jordan just paid on the lane to that big contract from Boston. Hayward. He went to Butler. So Hayward was balling when he was at Butler, and they did good in the NCAA tournament. They went far. 2 years, I think 2 years in a row. I think they went far. And Brandon Hayward, that's why Brandon Hayward is doing his thing. So it takes. My point is, black and white. It takes one athlete. Brandon Hayward went to Jackson State. He was balling. He could go to Jackson State, the same goddamn thing. That white boy can ball. You just say one person to put you on the map, and it's like, damn. Because you think about it. Let's be for real. You get a white athlete go to Jackson State balling, he killing. Then who was that? Who was they killing? The black athletes go like, damn, he going to a black school balling. I'm gonna go, no, that's exposure. I'm gonna go on him. Whether he white, black, or whatever, it takes a few athletes, man. That's why I was using that as an example. Because Butler, what the hell? Butler, it's small.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's really, it's not even, it's like in the neighborhood, man. I mean, I know exactly where it's in the neighborhood, you know, But I mean, like I said, just take that one upsetting a couple of teams, getting you to the Final Four or whatever. That'll do it. Not even Final Four. Get in the Sweet 16. You good?
Yeah, most of the guys the Cinderella teams. Be a Cinderella team, constantly going there because Butler did it a few years in a row, man. Cinderella team. It takes a few athletes, man, just to get the ball rolling or whatever. But I mean, like going back to the question, why you think black recruits are out to go to big name colleges, man? And that's, man, you think about it. A lot of guys that grew up in the era we grew up in, like All Good Gardens, man. Like, let's think about it. Coach K, who he came out there to recruit? Coach K came to the Gardens.
Jerry G. Now, he came out there to recruit Jerry G. Let me tell you, these. I mean, I know you said that a black school didn't recruit a dude because they didn't recruit this guy because he didn't think that he'd come.
Right.
Man, black colleges got to stop that shit. You got to get hungry. Go in the hood. Coach K was in All Good Gardens, bro.
Yeah.
Coach K came to All Good Gardens, one of the roughest high crime areas in the city. He came his ass out there. I remember. I knew who Coach K was. I was young, but I knew I saw this little white dude in the suit talking with Big Jerry G. I'm like, this motherfucker, like, it's serious.
Yeah.
And that's how you get your money. These guys are taking risks. They don't give a damn. Hey, almighty dollar, man, they going out there, they going after the recruit. So when these young kids in the ghetto, they see Coach K on TV and be like, damn, he came to the hood to recruit me? That looks more enticing.
Yeah, but what was good though, Jerry still with Illinois though. You know what I'm saying? That was, I mean, I hats off to Jerry G for that.
He should have went to Duke. And if he went to Duke, I think it has some sort of playing career. Illinois, they was trash then. So that's a good example too. It's a good example, but it's a good bad example because he went to Illinois and they wasn't really doing that at the time. So because him and Antoine Walker was supposed to go to the same school together, I think. Antoine Walker. Antoine Walker, did he go straight to the?
He didn't go to Duke. He went to
Kansas or Kentucky. I can't remember what school.
Yeah, one of them. I know it was Kentucky. It was Kentucky. Right. Imagine them both would have went to Kentucky or both went to Illinois. You know what I'm saying? Illinois State. I mean, Illinois, man.
Yeah, Illinois. Yeah. That'd have been nasty. But G, man, let me tell you something. This day and age right now, especially the crowd we got in Chicago, when you get these white guys, man, they ain't looking at no black and white. They looking at the bag, baby. They coming out there to get the bag. They give you the bag. I always give props to Coach K. Much respect coming out in the hood where shit, you wasn't guaranteed to make it out. Coach K had that suit on, like shit. I'm about to recruit me. He came out and recruited Sean Dockery from Julian, man. So the thing is, what's crazy, man? When I went to Illinois State, when I was down there, those guys, their basketball programs, they recruit in the black community. They did not. These local schools. It was these big time schools, these D1 schools, the Kansas. Look where Rose went. They came their ass out here in the hood, man. They know. So it's time for black schools to wake up. It ain't about college athletes going to the big name black colleges. These big schools are already going after them before they even think about that.
Yeah.
You think about D Rose. I mean, come on, these big schools got the money. Hey, we got this facility, get this facility, this got your name on it. They could make a jersey with Rose's name on there, with Sean Dockery name on there. You know what I'm saying? You know, D Wade when he was the Marquette, they going after these guys before that's a thought, because people know in these towns like Duke and NC and Chapel Hill, these fans come out there, these small towns, and watch these games all the time. So they see these black athletes come from these urban neighborhoods, like, damn, he can ball. We're going out to watch him. That's support.
Yeah,
black schools got to match that. These recruiters got to get out there and give them a damn bid.
I think what the good person would have been on this show to talk about this too, and he's in the group, Terry Common, to see how his recruiting process went before he went to DePaul.
Yeah,
who came to recruit him? You know what I'm saying? Because you know he was balling. You know what I'm saying? One of the big top recruits or whatever, and then decided to go to DePaul. You know what I'm saying?
Ray Meyer came up to Carver.
Huh?
Ray Meyer came up to Carver.
Ah, I didn't know that.
Yeah. It was a pretty big thing. Terry Common was like one of the top players in the state at the time. So yeah, and DePaul had the program. I just want to just talk a little bit about what we mentioned a while back. And the question was, at what point do we do it? Like, I think just now is the time. To quote D.L. Hughley, and I posted this status of his quote. D.L. Hughley said that the most consistently racist word used against blacks is not the N-word. The most consistently word used against us is no. And what he meant by that was, no, you're not going to get a low interest rate. No, you're not going to get a bank loan. No, you cannot live here. No, you can't drink our water off our water fountain. And of course, in this case, no, you can't come to our prestigious schools. So we're talking about right now, we're talking about systemic racism and the need to have these historically black colleges and universities, because when, as I mentioned before, when you think about the technical definition of systemic racism, it's just a bunch of boundaries, rules, and guidelines that's meant to tell you that, okay, no, you don't qualify because of your credit score, or you don't qualify because you don't qualify for promotion because you don't have a degree. That's just a way of saying you can't get a promotion in the corporate world because you're black, or you can't get a low interest rate because you're black. They can't tell you that. It's a lawsuit. It's a class action lawsuit. It's illegal. It's a crime. But rather than tell you, well, no, we're not going to let you move in this neighborhood because you're black, they'll tell you don't qualify for credit score, or you don't have a doctorate, or you don't have a degree. So this school, Princeton, you can't come here. You can't come to Stanford. You can't come here because you're great. So a bunch of rules, guidelines, and parameters, all of that equals systemic racism. That's the very definition of it. So that this is where historically black colleges come in at. And like you said earlier in the show, I've never heard of a historically black college until we watched It's a Different World. And even then, they used a fictitious name, Hillman.
Yeah.
But and then Spike Lee showed us what college life was in the movie School Days.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think once we have the grip on what systemic racism is, Jonathan, once we've really studied the dichotomy of what it actually means, it answers the questions of when do we start now, and that is today, because change is generational. I get that, my mom needs surgery and we don't have money, or we're in the projects and we got to get out of here. But change has never come overnight. Change is generational. When Martin Luther King them got hit upside the head because they were marching, they weren't able to vote right away. We're voting right now because of what they did 50 years ago. So if we were able to implement, and LeBron James said, hey, Bronny, I need you at Jackson State. And then D Wade's son, Zaire, he's going to be, I'm going to Langston then. And then Scottie Pippen's son, I'm going to Grambling. Then that's generational change, because kids 4 years from now and 5 years from now, they're going to go to those schools. And that, again, that effectively, that becomes the new ACC, because all the talent goes there. So when you take to overthrow systemic racism, you have to plant seeds. This is like a farmer. When a farmer plants seeds, he's planting it on fallow ground. What is fallow ground? Fallow ground has to be broken up. You have to break through the traditional things. You have to plow the fallow ground and then plant the seeds. And then years later, you'll reap the harvest. And that's what generational change is. And that's what I mean by we have to start now. I get that you got to get the bag because you need money right now. But what are we going to do 20 years from now when we still don't have media coverage or media exposure because we didn't do it right now today? So we're told no all the time because we want the bag. But we don't create a movement. A movement is not just one voice. A movement is a people saying we're not going for it any longer. We're sending our kids here. And even if we don't get the money right away, we've planted the seeds on fallow ground and we were able to reap the harvest later on.
So now you got to put historically black colleges on the map too. They got to go out here and fucking recruit. Like I said, when I was in college, dude, we had Michigan State University in our stands. Michigan State University in our stands. Michigan State University looking at me. I don't know no black schools that was looking at me in college. University of Miami, you know, the U. We got Michigan State, Ball State, Illinois State, and then after me was Jason Avant, who got recruited by Michigan. Michigan was in the stands too. So you got these schools, man. They don't give a damn about crime and risk. They see where the bag is at. They showing up at our door before we make a decision. Like, here, come to this school. Hit this trip. I had a paid trip that I didn't take to Miami to come see the campus, whatever, that my coach set up. Big shout out to Coach Simpson. I didn't go. But the fact that they were fucking coming out to the Gardens and send me a plane ticket to Miami to fly out there, that's big. You know what I'm saying? So you got to, at some point, these black colleges, like Deion Sanders doing right now, if you've seen his last video, he's very, very aggressive with the recruitment. He's a big talker. I gotta see how the video, man. He's a big talker, man.
I love to see that too, because I know he
I look at the video. I think Byron on here. Byron, I think the one shared the video, but I got to look for it, man. Deion Sanders is a big shit talker. What you need, coach? What you need, coach? ESPN following it. It's starting right now. He's being an aggressor. So just like these big ass schools come out to these neighborhoods, you best believe prime time gonna be in the area, baby. Jackson State, watch out, people. Jackson State, watch out. That football program is gonna make some noise in that little south right there. It's gonna intimidate the Mississippi's and the Alabamas, I think. But that's what I'm talking about. Proactive, and you're reaching out to students because, like I told you, we said earlier, shit, Coach K's and the guards, all these coaches, man, they don't give a damn about color. They come out here to recruit some athletes.
Yeah.
If you remember Leon Smith, you remember saying I bought him to Leon Smith.
Yeah.
Marlon Fred crib. Man, the exposure he was getting. All these schools, it was big time schools. He just chose the Dallas, went to the draft, got drafted by Dallas. You know what I'm saying? So these guys come out to these Kings, these Carvers, these inner city schools. They don't give a damn, man. And it's time for black colleges, instead of assuming, to get their ass out there, recruit, and present the same options. Because look, at Jackson State, Alcorn State, hey, you could be the top name right here, the name. That's what all that matters. And you got to get to them before these schools got here, man, because these big schools making that bag, man, they be beating them. But Deion Sanders, I got to share the video. That's what I'm talking about, man. That's how you recruit.
Yeah, dude. I mean, we definitely want to share that. Also, hopefully next time we could actually revisit this topic, because I do want to I'm gonna reach out to Terry Commons, see will he come in on this and see how to recruit. I definitely want to hear his stories, you know, because I know he got stories to lore. You know what I'm saying?
He'll come on. He came on before. He'll do it.
So we'll check him out. And like I said, let's try to keep this going. Like I said, I want to revisit this topic, and sometime next month or whatever, you know, whenever we could get Terry, whenever he's available, we could go ahead and revisit this topic then.
Hey, so we got time, man, because we can go on this for a little hour. I know Mark's like he ready to watch that little Bulls preseason, but real quick,
they losing by 20 something, dog. So y'all don't even jump, don't even rush to go back, and just they getting blown out.
Oh shit! Hey, tomorrow, man, we got Talking Shit with Jay Hendo at a special time tomorrow at 8 p.m. We got a special guest on the show, Laura from San Antonio and her warmers group. It's gonna be dope. Tune into that, and are we doing sports? I don't know what the Bears on.
Well, we were supposed to do the Bulls thing, but if they lose about 20,
no, I'm seeing some good things that's going on. Kobe White marketing. So yeah.
Okay. Well, we could talk about. I mean, if you want to come on, Marcus, tomorrow around 11 o'clock your time, just do a little quick 30 minutes, 45 minutes to give a little recap on that. That's cool.
Hey man, I told you don't be coming around here because I don't got the baby for too petty.
Hey, one quick thing too. For those who watch the show, man, we got the Hebrew brother Marcus coming back. December 26th. Spend some knowledge at 11 o'clock, man. Gonna be talking shit with Jay Hendo on it again. And it's gonna be dope. And the show is not gonna be just an hour. It's gonna be over an hour, man. And we're gonna be talking some deep shit as usual, man.
And also, last thing before we head out, we got a show too Sunday. I'm going to do this card game, so it's called Skin Deep. It's like a couples night, you know what I'm saying? And you gotta bring it. There's gonna be 2 questions that's asked. You gotta ask your spouse, and she gotta answer it honestly. So tune into that, because that's gonna be dope. We got like about 4 couples that's gonna be 4 couples involved in this one. You know what I'm saying? So definitely check us out Sunday at 7 Central, 8 Eastern. So I post that up again in the group.
What is Skin Deep? Is this like some fucking After Dark or
no? It's real. It's some stuff that you got to answer truthfully. It's 12
Man,
questions.
I thought I was gonna be flashing. I ain't turning it. I ain't tuning in. I ain't gonna be doing that. I ain't watching.
Hey man, hey, thank y'all for tuning in, man. Hey, tune in tomorrow night. Hey, we're gonna keep it live, man. There's 3 jerks with a cause today, but it's 3 jerks with a platform. We sign out, y'all. Y'all enjoy y'all weekend.
Yep.
Peace out.